the Talking Leeds podcast with Arron Marshall and George Brooke.
Hello and a very warm welcome to the Talking Leeds podcast with myself, Arron Marshall, and he's fresh from the Vatican this week. George has been busy with Pope Leo and not Prince Charles, King Charles. He's fresh from his trip to the Vatican, reading the Bible in the Vatican today. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, Mr. George Brooke. How are you, sir? Fresh from the Vatican.
Good evening, Arron. Good morning, good afternoon, good night to everybody listening and watching. I'm okay, mate. Thank you. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Thank you. Just saying off, dealing with chicken pox. That's hit the Marshall household over the last couple of days. So yes, dealing with that. So that's why we're a little bit late than planned as usual. And obviously, George has just flown in from the Vatican. And we've have you filled up with the Holy Spirit, George, says Jimbo.
Something like that, yeah.
Well, there you go. Use your own imagination to that, Jimbo. Right then, George, let's get straight into it. Lots to discuss this evening in the world of Leeds United. It's been a bit of a strange week for Leeds, hasn't it, this week? Obviously, Harry Gray signed a new deal, which is great. We don't know how long it is, though, but we think it's about 3 years because that's the max I think the young players can sign these days. And then it's all doom and gloom, isn't it? Because we've got West Ham tomorrow night.
Yeah, look, I mean, West Ham tomorrow, Arron. It's a crunch one for me. It's final. It's final time for Fark, I believe. And it's that serious, for him and for Leeds at this stage, And I was doing a piece this morning. If anybody wants to check out a bit of my writing, I've recently just started doing it. So Arron for Vavel, which is a online publication.
Okay.
And if you see Leeds United, if you type Vavel Leeds United in. Some of my writing will come up if you go onto the page, and it will, I write a bit about, analysis. I've done one match report. I've done 4 so far with them.
Okay.
So, a bit of writing, and I was doing a piece this morning, just having a look at a few things, take the angle of, look, it's far.
What are the headlines then, George? What? Because obviously, you're saying it's Fark out. If we don't get results tomorrow, what are your key takeaways then? Leeds defeat tomorrow, that's it, he's gone, would you say? Or shall I tell you why I think I'm a bit worried about that? Because the pressure is going to be on him tomorrow, let's be honest. It's a massive, massive game tomorrow. West Ham, who were diabolical on Monday. What if they, what if they get a point? Would that stay of execution?
I think, to be honest, Arron, the point in my mind is not good enough, and I think a lot of Leeds fans' minds won't be good enough at home to a team like West Ham who have started how they started. I would say sack him if we don't win. I believe he'll probably stay if they draw. I mean, Tom's saying here, good evening, Tom, coming from my channel, mate. I think he should have 10 games. Well, what's the difference? I mean, 9 or 10 games. We're on 9 games tomorrow.
Yeah.
What's the point in giving him the extra game? I mean, yeah.
The issue that we have here is, and this is where I'm coming with Fark, and I'm not Fark out like you. I'm still 100% behind the manager, because who's out there, George? And when you get wound up on WhatsApp, you wind yourself up, and I'm there winding you up even more. Like, who, George, in the real world, who would come in and do a better job than Daniel Fark? Let's have this out right now, because for me, there isn't anybody out there who could do a better job. Ultimately, you look at the statistics against Burnley. I used this with Jerry on our match reaction show. The chances, the XG were all there. That's not that, Leeds battered them. Let's be honest. They battered them. The only thing which didn't happen was the most important statistic was 3 points on the board. I get that. But if you look on paper, Leeds battered Burnley on Saturday. They battered them.
Yeah, but what was the score, mate?
I know. That's what I'm saying. So that leads me... let me finish my point, which I'm making, Mr. Brooke. The point that I'm making is this. It's not his fault. The service into Dominic Calvert-Lewin isn't good enough because that's down to individual errors. Wingers, it's down to individual errors on players who, there's whole... You can point the finger everywhere across that pitch. You can't blame it on Daniel Farke because he hasn't made those errors. He hasn't made, glaring misses or hit the bar like Brendan Aronson, which he should have scored, by the way. He hasn't done that. Farke hasn't done that. That was individual error, which boils back to the recruitment over the summer. Because the quality there.
Yeah, look, I agree.
Forward players are poor. Dominic Calvert-Lewin will only get better and score more goals when the service into him is good enough. That's it.
Yeah, look, we all know the recruitment was poor in the summer. It should have been better. We should have got more attacking prowess, definitely. But look, at the end of the day, we've got to work till January and get enough points on the board to make sure that we're not going to go anywhere near the relegation. As it stands, I mean, there's comments coming in, even to Mark as well. And, of course, the score at the moment, Mark, you know what it's always like here.
Listen, Mark, just joined. Are you Farke in or Farke out, Mark? That's what we want to know because George is saying he wants him out. He wants him gone. And he agrees with me, George.
Of course. But that doesn't,
we need more service and quality.
Of course we do. But, look, at the moment we haven't got it. We can't get anything in.
Sacking the manager doesn't solve that issue because
no, 100% it does.
If bloody Pep came in, it'd still have the same issue. He's not going to turn Brendan Aronson into a cross 100% accuracy machine overnight. It won't happen. So sacking the manager doesn't help solve the problem. We did this. We had all this charge. We had all this under Marsh, Bielsa, Gracia, Allardyce. We've had all this. We've had it all.
No, I disagree because, look, and Tom says here, look, DCL doesn't look sharp enough to me. Good positioning, but squanders chances. All of them are doing.
I agree.
But like you said, Aronson on Saturday should have scored that. That goes in. It's 1-1. And we might, what we said before the game, if we score first, we're all right. If we score, if we're chasing it, we're in trouble. And that's how it was. And I think, we've got the players we've got. We can't change them at the moment. But... like Jimbo says, Bielsa changed very average players. Very good coaches can come in and change that team around. That is why we change the manager if we lose tomorrow night. It's a stone. It's nailed on. It's nailed on. This. If we lose tomorrow, he's gone, and I can 100% say so because that's because I believe it to be so. You can't sit here and say to me after we lose to West Ham on Friday evening, Arron, that he's still the best man for the job. I don't believe that would be true at all.
But the point is, who do you want then? Let's say the inevitable happens. Who do you want to come in?
Well, I mean, let's just as a second because. It's Pele's actually again, being on the Spice game, maybe I have. Who do you want in? Let's see. So, look.
Well, who do you want?
It's not a case of who do I want in. Everybody's.
Who should come
in?
Who should come in then? In your opinion, who's going to come in and make these wholesale changes, turn Jack Harrison, Brendan Aronson, Dan James and Willie Gnonto into these superstars? Who's going to do that? Because that's what you wanted. Let's take Bielsa out of the equation, which Jimbo said, because Bielsa, I'd love him to come here, go get him, but he won't come back. The problem is, Big Ange, his Premier League career is done. You'll never see him manage in the Premier League again. Never. He's gone. He's done. He needs to go away and not come back for a long, long time. Graham Potter, his career in the Premier League is done because they've had bad season after bad season after bad season. They haven't turned it around. Ange got sacked because he couldn't turn it around. And that's the situation which you find yourself when your club's poor, the recruitment. Look at what Forest did over the summer. They spent millions and they didn't get anything. What happened there? It was the boardroom. That's why Ange got sacked. That's why Nuno got sacked. It's just, I just genuinely don't know who's come out there. And let's look at the 49ers recruitments with Rangers. They've got Danny Rowling, just got that over the line a couple of days ago. So you can't start up that process again. And it's taken them, 2.5 weeks or whatever it is to a point up there. It'd be the same here for Leeds. And if you want points on the board, it's going to take time. Who's going to come in and caretaker charge? Johnny Howson?
Oh, I didn't realise Danny Rowe is he in the Rangers now? Is he?
Yeah, they appointed him. I think it was the day before yesterday, a couple of days ago.
He left Wednesday, didn't he? But at the end of last season, was it? And Tom's saying as well further up, about Ange, and Jimbo's made the point as well. Postecoglou would probably want it. Tom, again, it hinges on what the 49ers think.
Big Ange, no, we don't. No,
we're not saying that he's coming in, are we? But
we don't want him. We want him as far away from this club as possible.
I think he's better than. I'm going to trigger you.
No, go on, say it. Go on. He's what?
Better than Fark.
God, no.
Of course he is. He's a better manager than Daniel Fark, to be fair. So I don't realise what the problem would be with Postecoglou. I think Postecoglou. I think he'd have the challenges, wouldn't you, with him in? But I think I think he just needs the right atmosphere. He does, and I feel like he would actually do an all right kind of job with Leeds. I think he'd do okay, but I don't think he would be the man to do it.
No, but and ultimately, you need somebody who can come in and coach these players to be better players. I
think, to be honest with you, Arron, I think if Fark gets sacked tomorrow, I think we might actually see Postecoglou, which would be very interesting.
I'll tell you what, if he comes in, I don't know what I'd do. I really don't, because
what's the big issue with Postecoglou, Arron? Just get it out there.
Well, it's quite simple. They would have been relegated with Spurs last year if it wasn't for the 3 promoted teams last season. They would have been down. The style of play doesn't fit our players, I don't think, which he likes to bring. I think he's got an ego. I think his record at Forest, as short it was poor. It just for me is not the right fit. I think he's got a big ego, George, and I just think, I can remember his press conference at Forest, and he said, "Oh look, you need to give me 2 seasons, and I always win something in my second season." Blah 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 blah. Can you smell that? Can you smell that? Because I can smell it, and it begins with a B and it ends with an L, and it smells of poo. It's just great. He's not the best thing.
But that's not true. That's actually factually correct. He did win something in his second season.
He's not going to win anything at Leeds. He's not going to win anything in Leeds in his second season. 17th. I really don't like him. I just think his ego. He's got a massive ego, and he's just not the right person for Leeds United. There's nothing wrong with Daniel Fark. Ultimately, it's like what Mark has said here. It's not Fark's fault this time. Yes, I will give the only fault and the only, kind of nitty gritty, if we're going to drill it down, is his substitutions and his stubbornness not to change things when it should have been changed. Jerry was absolutely bang on the money on Sunday. When we did the match reaction, he should have changed it at half time, and he didn't. The issue here is the inevitability that the board did not bring more quality forward players in the summer window. That fault is not with Daniel Fark. That is with the 49ers. They were chasing Paccio, whatever he's bloody called. They were chasing the wrong players to try and get them in. And then when it came to it, they didn't have anybody. If we didn't sign Dominic Calvert-Lewin on a free, we'd have been screwed. We'd have been screwed by now. We'd be in the relegation zone by now if we didn't sign him. We really would.
We're basically there already, aren't we?
We're not.
I mean,
go on.
You know, obviously Tom says you won't mind Postecoglou, but
Why, Tom? Why?
I think I don't know. I think Postecoglou. They loved him at Spurs. You're right. They had a poor season last time.
They loved him. They hated him. They hated him. If it wasn't for the Europa League, if they'd have got knocked out of the Europa League at this quarter-final stage or the semi-final stage, he'd have long gone. Their season was awful last year. They finished 17th in the league, man.
Did they? They won the thing, and
they won it. Luckily, because Manchester United were equally as poor as well. What happened last year is Manchester United and Tottenham Hotspur, they put all their eggs in one basket and went, right, the only thing we're going to qualify for Europe next year is through winning the Europa League. I'm not being funny. You've got bloody Villa in the Europa League this year. They'll walk that. They will walk it. You've got Palace in the Conference League. They'll walk that as well. They will walk it easily. The Europa League is not as good as the Champions League. It's the division below the Champions League. And you look at the quality in there. You've got some big name clubs, but I'm not being funny. I just think Ange Postecoglou is not the right fit for Leeds United.
No.
And the problem is like what Tom says here. Like the thing is, Postecoglou has something to prove. He did at Forest. Remember that, Tom. Remember that. He did at Forest and it didn't work out.
Yeah. Well, again, it don't mean to say that it's not going to not work out here either. You know what I mean? I think it... Look, his history's checkered in the Premier League. I think that maybe
he's done.
I think whether you like it or not, I think this might happen, Arron. Actually, I should have
gone up to Bloody Rangers. Then that's where he should have gone.
Well, he would not go there, would he? Though with his Celtic roots. But yeah, I think again, like Tom says here, very very as well. The Forest owner is very sporadic, and he's terrible.
He is, but the problem is, it's like what Sean Dyche has gone in there now, and he will steady the ship there, and they will finish mid-table, be very, very comfortable in there.
Very, very possible, quite possibly, yeah, and that's absolutely fine.
You've got to remember the issue here is this: his record over the last couple of years is not good enough in the Premier League. You're not in Europe now. You're not going to win the FA Cup with Leeds United, Ange Postecoglou. You got to keep Leeds in the league, and that is the goal. And he only just did it with Spurs last year because there was
but the year before they finished. I don't know. They finished a good bit above, didn't they? They finished wherever they finished, 5th or 6th. I don't know where they did.
But it doesn't matter where they finished. You look at the here and now. You could say that bloody I don't know, Jesse Marsh. You could say, anybody is better than that. I really just think it's just a wrong move. You got to give him time, and I think Falk deserves time, George, because ultimately the errors which have been made have been down to individual errors, not Daniel Falk. Do you think he's lost the dressing room?
I feel like he's not lost the dressing room, but I just don't think that it's out of ideas. They're not good enough, and it's like what Tom says up here. Remember that the 49ers point of view, it's not about fairness or justice. I don't agree with sacking Falk, but they could, and Postecoglou is an elite profile. Mark says if not him, then who? I'm not keen on any of the alternatives out there. Could end up with Potter or Ange. Potter's gone to Sweden. Mark, he's a Swedish national team manager.
He's gone over there. You'll never see him back in the Premier League. Graham Potter.
Yeah, Mark, this is the best time to get a good manager. Best sticking with Falk till January. But at that point, Mark, though, I believe we'll be could adrift. Let's be honest, Arron. We have just lost to Burnley, which is an awful result.
Which I Which I said it was going to be a difficult game last week.
Yeah, but it shouldn't have been that difficult. And let's be honest, like you said, we did hammer down the door. They were guilty, particularly Jack Harrison and Brendan Aronson, of missing some real sitters of a chances.
Exactly.
You know,
that's not down to.
It's not. But you've been. How long have you been watching football? Do you know how it works?
I do know how it works.
Well, it's not the players that are being sacked.
I've been watching it a bit longer than you. Let me just tell you what. Let me just give you the stats from Burnley. 69% possession for Leeds against Burnley's 31. 19 shots for Leeds compared to Burnley's 4. 4 shots on target compared to their 3. XG, which is I know all these statistics. There's only one statistic. It was Burnley 2, Leeds 0. I get that. 1.67 expected goals compared to Burnley 0.45. Completed passes was pretty much nearly double Burnley's. Accuracy 85%, 76 for passing accuracy. Touches in the opponent's box. Listen to this. How many? Go on. How many touches in the opposition box did Burnley have?
I really don't care. It didn't matter.
I care to make a point. Go on.
I don't know.
How many?
We had about, from what I saw...
I want to know Burnley's touches.
Burnley probably had single figures, about 5 or 6. Maybe.
It was 4. How many did Leeds have?
Well, they all 5,000 million. I mean, it doesn't matter, does it? We lost the game 2-0.
42, and we run more as well. We did lose the game. I completely understand. We did lose. However, when you look at those statistics and data-driven, a lot of Premier League managers, hierarchies, they look at the data and they say, actually, it's not as bad as it looks. You turn that, if you'd have turned those 2 of those goals into a draw, we were going 2-0 down, drew 2-2, it'd have been fine. You'd have been happy with that. Yeah,
I mean, look, we had chances. Even when we went down 2-0 and people were going on about, that goal was great. And it was a nice hit. But you give him the whole space and time on the field to hit it. And what you expect is a professional footballer. So, you know what I mean? And even after that, we had chances. Bogle somehow put that one over the bar. There was Nemecha who headed over as well. That could have been 2 apiece there. So,
and that boils down to it, George. Whose fault is that?
Well, it's the lads who've missed, of course. But, like I said, we've all been watching football long enough. It's the manager that takes the hit, and that's how it works. So
the manager has a point here that, yes, they should be more clinical. Yes, he's saying he's saying we need to be more clinical, we need to be more attacking, blah, 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 blah. But ultimately, it's like what Mr. White, good evening to Mr. Whitesnake, all the way from, I think he's New Zealand, isn't he? The stats say we were a dominant side. We just don't finish. That's the issue. Any manager which comes in there now has to solve a problem. The problem here is this: get service to Dominic Calvert-Lewin. When you've got championship players who are playing in the level above, when you've got Brendan Aronson, you have Brendan Aronson, Dan James, Nonto still unfit, when you've got all these championshipy players, you can't expect them to step up because they haven't got it. Kyle Walker had the game of his life in the last 3 or 4 years against Leeds on Saturday because he could cross the ball. That was it. You won't hear out from him again for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, he had an exceptional game. Yeah. But at the moment,
that's his game done because he was up against championship players.
Yeah, but
championship player himself.
Yeah, but we're not. We're Premier League players. We're in the Premier League. They need to step up, and the level needs to step up
because they're not good enough. The quality in that final third is poor. It's not good enough.
But also, Dominic, when he gets going, he's not played in the Championship if he has, it's years ago.
I know, but
so he's very much a fully fledged Premier League player.
The point is this: the issue that we're having here is that due to the poor recruitment strategy of the 49ers in the summer, where they did not recruit other than Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Lucas Nemecha on free transfers, we did not bring any other quality in the final third. You're still banking on bloody Aronson, James, Nonto. We've lost Solomon, by the way. We haven't even discussed him. You're missing that real quality in that final third, especially when you step into the Premier League. You need to have more quality.
Well, you are missing out one person in particular, but I like what Mark suggests here. Two up front might do the job. You know what I mean? I mean, Lucas and Dominic up front, by two of them with flanked by maybe Tanaka as the 8 or whatever, But you're missing out on purposefully, I must admit, Aaron, is Mr. Okafor, who you don't seem to rate at all.
No, I don't. He's useless. He is nowhere near what we need there, I'm afraid. Very average player.
I don't know. I don't believe that's right. He's our top scorer after all, isn't he? Is he not?
Yeah, but God knows how. George, go into the kitchen and come back. Oh, George, we know, says Mark.
It's just frustrating, isn't it, Mark? Just this club. Get rid of the manager. Do you think we'll win tomorrow night, Aaron?
I do actually think we will. Yeah.
Yeah.
The last 26 minutes is a complete irrelevance. Because we're probably going to go win tomorrow, and everything will be all happy days again.
No, I think when we move on to double points, double figures if we win, don't we, on 11 points? And I don't know. I mean, I think at home I think West Ham as they are, they're a bit at sea, aren't they? With Nuno in there as well, it hasn't really worked so far, and they've got some players that can hurt us.
Yeah.
But I think, at home we seem to have that bit more steel to maybe get over games and
get over the line. This is where if we're going to compete in the Premier League this year and stay up, it is going to be a home form. It's the same with Burnley, same with Sunderland. All your 3 promoted teams.
Yeah.
Focus on home form. I think when the reverse fixture comes up for Burnley against Leeds, I'd expect Leeds to beat Burnley at home. I really would. It was a bad day at the office on Saturday. Let's not beat around the bush. We should have won. We didn't. The statistics for me, when you look at the stats and I've watched the whole 90 back, and you just think it was poor. The quality was poor. And you've just got to hope that was just a bad day at the office and that they can sort this all out tomorrow. They can easily sort it out. Go out 1-0, 2-0. I don't care. Just get the 3 points on the board, Leeds United, tomorrow. I do think Carl Darlow, who does need to be dropped.
Carl Darlow's gone now. He's had his chance. I know as soon as we lose, as soon as we lost the game, he's gone. Perry's back in, and he won't dislodge him. Do I think we should still dispense with Farke if we win tomorrow, Tom? Ultimately, yes.
Why?
Not if we look. I mean, not if we win. If we win, obviously, it's not going to go anywhere. But ultimately, yes, my thought process still stands that Daniel Farke needs to be sacked for Leeds United to move forward and stay in the division. It's as simple as that.
Got to Mr. Arron says, Mark, as bad as it sounds, it will be hard if we lose. I completely agree. George, I just want to give you the bookies odds for the next Leeds United manager. And of course, if those who are listening on the pod are on live on YouTube right now, if an announcement like this happens, me and George will give our thoughts to it if it does happen, but it won't. George, I've got the odds for the next Leeds United manager. Brendan Rodgers is top of the bookies list. He's 5-6, above Ange Postecoglou. Gary O'Neill 3-1. Edin Terzic, I've never heard of him, 4-1. Marco Rose 5-1. Giovanni Van Bronckhorst 6-1. Eric Ten Hag 7-1. Ralph Hasenhüttl, God, the script, the barrel, these bookies at 10-1. Adi Hutter at 12. and Henrik Rydstrom at 14-1. Yeah, Brendan Rodgers, George. What about that one? Because that is a bit of a he's doing all right at Celtic, but he's been a bit shit this season.
Yeah, I think Brendan Rodgers.
You've got the teeth to Celtic, by the way. That the 49ers go and pinch their manager. Quite funny.
I mean, you got to say, if we went for Brendan Rodgers has a plethora of experience in the Premier League. A what?
He was nearly relegated with Leicester.
Yeah, of course, but you know what I mean. Forget about that. That was years ago. Liverpool did all right, didn't they?
George 2-1 on. George is 2-1 with the next Leeds.
Yeah, that's it. Get in there. Why not? I don't mind.
I'll tell you what, that beard will turn grey before you know it. That beard will turn grey before you know it.
Drop them all down. Whatever. Get them going. Play a different formation. Do it all. But no, look. I think on that list of people I have mentioned, I do know that Marco Rose will be liked and is liked also by Leeds. And I think that's interesting because with the Red Bull links and things like that, I think that might be interesting. And it might bring back, Mr. Rennie, the assistant under Jesse Marsh. God. Rennie Marek was his assistant in Austria as well. So yes, maybe Marco Rose, he might be one to look at. I would say out those lists there. Brendan Rodgers ain't going to leave Celtic, is he?
No.
Edin Čučak was the Borussia Dortmund manager,
right?
German guy.
Huh? He won't come nowhere near us.
I don't know. I think these sort of players, like these sort of managers, like Marco Rose, he might do. And I think that potentially, I wouldn't mind this. I wouldn't mind that. I don't think I'd have Arron as the assistant though. I think Jimbo would be a bit too much going on with it.
George manager, Arron the assistant, and Jerry the director of football.
Yeah, that makes sense. So,
it makes sense. No, that would be hilarious. But listen,
I think. But Tom says, would he be more adventurous than Farke? I think he probably would, wouldn't he? I hope he changes the system, Mark. I don't think he will because we know what he's like. This is the point for you, Arron. What would you go for tomorrow? Would you change it personnel-wise? And what would you do with the team?
The issue here we have, George, is I think first of all, I'd look at the goalkeeper. I think Perry needs to be brought back in. He was your number one at the start of the season. He needs to come in now and regain that spot. I think Darlow needs a rest. You look at the last couple of weeks for Darlow. He's had a tough couple of weeks on international duty and for his club. I think he just needs a bit of a rest now, a bit of a respite. If that were Melia, we'd have been calling for him to go weeks ago. So I think we need to look at the goalkeeping department because I do think that needs freshening up. Struijk, for me, could do the drop down onto the bench. Bijol, I think we need to see him now. I think we need to change it up there in that defensive spine. I'd like to see Tanaka come back in as well. So I would drop BA. He needs to go down onto the bench for me and bring Tanaka in because we need that little bit of quality. When you looked at Tanaka against Everton at the beginning of the season, the first game of the season, you could see that little bit of quality in there. So you just that little bit of service in there. You can't really change up with your wingers because half of them are injured. Okafor out, James Pace out, Nonto out pretty much. I think James is back fit, isn't he? But he doesn't really offer much in the Premier League. I do think he gets caught out. What you need to be here is, George, the changes that I would make is we saw this against Spurs. You've got to be thinking that you're 2 or 3 passes ahead of them. And to do that, you need to be a bit more compact, and you need that quality when you're passing around, when you're pinging that ball around. It's got to be accurate, and you've got to make sure if you're putting a cross into the bloody box, Dominic Calvert-Lewin gets ahead to it. That's his strength. That's what we should be focusing on.
Yeah, I think there's be a few changes tomorrow. Perry will be back in. I think Bijol will, start. I wouldn't be surprised, maybe even to see James Justin play, potentially down the left.
Goodmanson's been good. I think Gabby Goodmanson's been all right for us.
Yeah, but
it's just there's just nothing. There's no real. It's just a solid left back, and we haven't had one of those for a while. Bogle again. You can't drop Bogle because his attacking, brings a lot more attacking wise. It's your wingers which is the issue. It's Brendan Aronson is an issue because the quality isn't there.
So you're saying drop Brendan. So that means a change in formation then, surely then.
Well, you've got to look at that final third. The final third is not working for Leeds. That's the issue. So there has to be fundamental changes.
So you're saying Tanaka comes in for Brendan?
Yeah.
So what formation is he playing then?
I'd keep it. No, I'd just go 4-2-3-1.
So who's playing where then in that formation? Then where's he playing?
Who?
Tanaka. Tanaka's playing in the 2.
I'd put him in the 10.
Right. Okay.
That's what I'd do because I think he could then, because he's got that little spark, and when he picks that ball up, he can do the little tricks and the flicks, and he can ping it out and he can find a pass. That's what Tanaka's really good at, and he creates chances out of nothing, and we've seen it how he does that in that midfield role. I just think moving up a bit further into the pitch, let him have that little bit of freedom. Ultimately, we haven't had a 10 since Pablo left, so this is a quick fix, and we need a 10 in January plus another forward and 2 new wingers. We've got to look at tweaking, making the best out of what we've got, and playing to our strengths a little bit here. That's what Leeds need to be doing.
Yeah, they do absolutely. I would change the form. I would change the personnel. They're a bit stuck in the attacking positions, but I would try and go with a bit more of a
Stack as well. He needs dropping. He's gone under the radar.
Stack, yeah. I think you'd
Longstaff fine, Ampadu fine. Keep them 2 in there and put Tanaka in front of Ampadu and Longstaff, because then Ampadu and Longstaff will do. They will go to the war. They will go to the trenches for you, and you need that. But if them 2 could give him a little bit of service, they can try and ping it out down the centre for Calvert-Lewin, or can try and find it out on the wings. But you look at the wings, Harrison and bloody Brendan Aronson are just not good enough.
Yeah,
Dan James. I know we've got Perot. Is there an argument to start Perot now, maybe instead of Dominic Calvert-Lewin? I don't know.
Well, no, he won't do that because he don't want to go with 2 up front, and I think that's a real shame because I think.
But this is the issue that we've got. He's a very stubborn manager. He sticks to his principles. He sticks to his ways, which is fine. And when it works, it works. But you've got to, you look at the squad. Dan James is clearly not fit enough. Maybe you bring him in. I don't know about Nonto. Nonto's probably out for a while. Into
Nonto's out
for a bit. Is he out as well?
I think Okafor, you say he's not trained or something.
Yeah, so it's late. Yeah. So it's okay. You look at that. You look at your 3 players: Harry Gray, Noah Okafor, and Willie Nonto, who were out the last game due to injury. You look at that quality on the bench. You just think, well, actually, you can't really change it up because there's no quality there to change it other than Tanaka.
That's what
I mean. Bornau will never see play this year unless it's in the FA Cup. James Justin is just coming to cover at left back and right back. Gruev, he's not going to change it up. Perot, still question marks over him. Dan James, maybe, I don't know. You just look, there's just no quality. That's the issue.
There's not enough quality. I believe there's quality within the team, but there's not enough quality, and it's not enough. It's not good enough, really, Aaron, is it? And at the end of the day, I just think that ultimately it boils down to him him taking the fall and losing his job, and that's just what's going to happen eventually. We all know it's going to happen. So just get it out of the way with. And get, just get it out of the way with and get on with somebody else who might be able to get more out of this team. I think Marco Rose would be my ideal choice out of these managers that we could immediately try and get in because he's out of work. I think that you might be able to, but just to see how things might improve because it's just gone a bit stale. We're getting into the territory now where Mr. Farke he was let go by Norwich. I don't think this is going to improve much. I would let him go definitely and say, right.
I think there's a scope to have this conversation. If Leeds don't get a result against West Ham tomorrow under the lights at Ellen Road, then I'm tempted to agree with you. However, there's still a game of football to be played. Leeds could absolutely batter West Ham and win 4-1. We still won't be happy, but it would keep Farke in a job. And the key thing is you look at these, the next international window's in 3 games' time. If you're taking 4 points every 4 games, it's absolutely fine because 17th is the goal this year.
But we've got to aim. 17th is the goal, Aaron. But that doesn't mean we have to play shit until then and then finish.
We're going to play. Well, it's individual errors which have cost us.
They are playing crap.
Yeah, due to individual errors.
Crap.
Due to individual errors.
Well, yeah, but who? Again, who's a custodian for these individual errors? It's Mr. Daniel Farke. So he's going to have to take the fall eventually. Whether we win tomorrow,
it's the players who make those decisions. It was Brendan Aronson who decided to take it around to the right against the player.
What on earth was Brendan Aronson doing?
This is what he should have gone to the left and bang, it would have been in, but he went to the right and it hit the post.
But the confidence isn't there, is it? Where's that all coming from? It's because they probably don't believe in themselves enough. Where does that come from? It stems from the manager.
I know where it comes from. I can tell you now for free. It's because they're not good enough.
No, it's because they're not being given the opportunity to show that they're good enough. It's like Longstaff said after we drew with Bournemouth, wasn't it? And that was another one they tossed away at the very last.
Again, in lack of concentration there. If I'm being honest,
it all goes down to the manager, the manager's record. We talk about the manager's record. It all goes down on him. Not the players that have made the individual errors. You cannot sack the players like that mid-season through. Bang, off you go. You made a few errors. Like we know with Meslier, he should have
I know, but like what you did with Meslier is you dropped him and brought somebody in who could do the job. But Leeds don't have any options.
But what I'm saying is a different approach, Aaron, to the way that they're managed and, day-to-day running might just pep them up a little bit. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? I think that's a real fair comment. I just think he's hit a wall where, you can say all you want. He doesn't get backed. He's this, that, and the other. That may be so.
Yeah.
But what the thing at the end of the day is, Aaron, they're not getting points on the board. If it continues like such, we're going one way and that's down. So they need to just raise the vibration of the dressing room, raise the vibration of, get the public speakers in. Daniel Farke isn't a good rouser. You know what I mean? Rouse them up, get them going.
I think he does. I think he does it in his way.
Get them believing in their own selves again. Get them thinking, right, lads, like Longset said, I didn't really finish my point there. He said some of them need to believe in themselves more. That's why he got the team on the pitch. And, you know, and you know, and then it's just what is it? You know, what is it, man? It just doesn't happen every day. You know, things are just not going well for the team. And I just don't think that Farke is a man at all to lead it forward.
Okay. You've just ranted there for 45 minutes. We've got 2 features to do. Pele says, stack Peroni over Perot. How's the band being on? All good, thank you. We've got a bout of chicken pox in the Marshall household, so we've got that. George has a point. Fact doesn't inspire feeling. Mark also says, personally, if we get a couple of decent forwards players in January, we might end up finishing higher. Right, George, let's do this. Tanaka time. We need some magic, don't we, with a bit of Tanaka time. George, what's caught your eye this week?
Well, we need Tanaka, you know what I mean? We need Tanaka. But what was caused this week, Arron, is the chance that we need to sack the bloody manager. That's all that's on my mind this week, you know. Just get him gone. Think about who we can bring in. And just, you know, try and enjoy it a bit more. You know what I mean? Let's be honest, that Burnley game was dire. You know, losing, I mean, no disrespect to Burnley, but losing 2-0 at Burnley was just...
Okay.
Why does that have to happen? You know what I mean?
We get the point. So you're Tanaka sack the manager. We've just ranted on about 45 minutes. I was expecting you to say something completely different. My Tanaka time is this, and I'd like to get your thoughts on this one, George. Now, Liverpool are playing Eintracht Frankfurt, and Mr. Christensen got on the score sheet, George. The most useless right back we've ever signed has become a Champions League goal scorer against Liverpool, number 1. And also, Robin Koch was also having the game of his life, I believe, even though they got destroyed 5-1.
Was it 5-1 in the end?
5-1 it ended up. But Robbie Koch, Champions League players. I just wanted to, and I've got a quiz based on Champions League players. Courtesy of our regular listener, Paul, who has emailed in our quiz for this week, which is great.
Wow, thank you, Paul.
He's given us a Champions League kind of theme. But yeah, Christensen and Koch, they were shit, weren't the Leeds? For Leeds, Josh, let's just not beat around the bush.
This is funny, Arron, because my brother texted me, he's a Liverpool fan. He said, you know, Christian scored against us. We must be crap, kind of thing. I said, well,
I said that to Jerry as well.
You know, but he sort of, you know, I didn't see the goal if it was any good. But I think, to be fair, Robin Koch in particular, and Christensen himself, neither of these two lads are bad players. It just didn't go very well for Leeds because, and I'll tell you why. It wasn't a very good atmosphere for these lads to be involved in. It wasn't the right kind of atmosphere. Robin Koch is a really good player. And for me, he could have gone like this up at Leeds. I mean, that's a bad one. The Koch could have gone up like that. But
it could be our Bible studies. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. No, that was not intentional, no. But you know, he could have. The trajectory of the player was obviously clearly there. You know, they talk about ceiling of the player was definitely there. So, you know, so it's you know what Robin Koch's been a captain of. Robbie Koch has been the captain of the German national side. I think
that's what makes it even worse.
He was captain last night for Frankfurt as well, and clearly both of them lads were good players. All of them lads were. I reckon that this team that we had when we got relegated is better than the one we have now. So God help us now.
Oh God. Wow.
I mean, do you think, man for man, that team that got relegated was better than the one that we have now? Anybody in the comments? What do you think?
I think the team that we've got now is better than the one which was relegated. Well, it's pretty much the same. Harrison. The only thing, so that's pretty much it. Melly is still kicking around. You do have some of the players who were relegated still there. Strauch, he's still kicking around. Who else is there?
That's it.
Dan James.
No, he was loaned. He was, but he was loaned to Fulham.
Technically on our books, but yeah, it's a whole thing there, isn't it? But the problem is that it's like what Mark says there. They just weren't consistent, and Tom says the relegated squad was superior, but that's not a guide. So
I think it was. I think exactly. It doesn't really matter, but man for man, I believe that team was way and above. Better than what it is now, but I know that there is some similarities. Melier, Strout, Harrison, Aronson, Dan James. There's some still about, but look at the quality in there. Robbie Cox and Tyler Adams and all of this. Rodrigo, who did well in that season, to be fair, had a good time.
Speaking of former players as well, because I do have another kind of minor Tanaka time. I don't know if you heard about Barcelona. They still owe Leeds United money. They owe Leeds about 38 million quid for 37 million quid or whatever it is for the sale of Rafinha to them. Leeds are still waiting on that payment. I think, well, if you can't pay, we'll take it away. We'll bring him back. Bring Rafinha back home. If they can't pay their bills, we'll take him back, even though he won't come back. It's as simple as that. But I don't know if you've heard that, George. Barcelona Leeds quite a lot of money, and that could buy us a new striker in January. So pay up, Barcelona.
Look, Barca, just pay the damn thing. He's scoring goals and making you loads of money. Just pay it up, and do it. Because look, Leeds United are in real trouble now. We need some money to come in to get some players so that we can really go on and keep ourselves from relegation, because we're getting relegated here. If the manager is still here come the new year, we're done.
Right, I'm going to get straight into this because you are clearly on one. Right, let's relax. Let's get back to the part. Let's get back into this. So I've got a quiz for you, Josh. So cover up the comments, please, if you can. So I've got former Leeds United players who've won the Champions League. So players who have played for Leeds have won the Champions League with another club. All I'm going to say is I'm going to name the club and the year, and I want you to tell me the player who played for Leeds and won the Champions League. Does that make sense? So, for example, question number 1, Liverpool 2005. This is courtesy of Mr. Paul Rushforth, by the way. He sent this, he's emailed it in, talkinglfc@gmail.com, and he's emailed this one in for us, so it's done my homework for me. So, Liverpool 2005. Who was that?
It was Jermaine Pennant. Or was it Harry Kewell?
What's one of them? Which one do you want?
Harry Kewell.
Yeah, that's correct. Well done. Harry Kewell got that one. What about Rio Ferdinand? I've just given the answer then. Scum 2008. Oh, no. It's written down. Scum 2008 was Rio Ferdinand. So that's me. Yeah, I got that one wrong. Right, okay. What about this? Real Madrid in 2003.
Oh. Is it Raul Bravo?
It is. Well done. You got that one right. I'll give you a Rio Ferdinand. You got 3. Liverpool 2019.
Flipping heck, yeah.
Who played for Leeds, but with the Champions League with Liverpool in 2019.
That's a good question.
It is, isn't it? Who is it? It's not Mark. I'm looking at the comments there. It's not that one.
Yeah.
I need an answer.
I've no idea. I can't.
You're going to kick yourself. He's still currently playing in the Premier League, by the way.
Is he still? No, give me a clue. Is he? And then I'll answer.
Still playing in the Premier League.
Is he still playing for Liverpool?
No, he's not playing for Liverpool. Playing for a different club, but still playing
in
in
the
the Premier League.
Of course, I know who it is.
Go on.
Milner.
Yeah, James Milner. That is right. Manchester City in 2023. Yeah, Tom's got it there.
Well,
Man City 2023.
Calvin Phillips.
Technically. Pardon?
Calvin Phillips.
Correct. Right, bonus one, courtesy of Paul. This is for you to get 6 out of 5. Bonus time. Real Madrid 2016. 17 and 18.
Bloody hell. I mean... it's
Real
Kiko
Madrid.
Casillas.
Who?
Kiko Casillas.
Correct. Well done, sir. Kiko Casilla. 6 out of 5. George, you got them all right. That is a first for you. Well done on getting them right. How did you get along in the comments? Did you get them all? Or if you're listening on the pod, let us know how you did. But thank you to Paul for sending that one in. Please do keep them coming because it helps me doing it when I don't have to do any prep for the show. That one. You like that one, George?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a really good one, that.
Good idea. We have to do one for the Europa League.
Yeah, that's next week.
There you go. Get on with that then, Paul. Do a nice Europa League one then for us if you can. George,
Paul, do another one if you want, mate.
Do another one. It saves me doing any work. It saves me.
It's a good job you got paid for, isn't it?
Yeah. Right, George. Let's get some predictions and lock some predictions in and previews and whatnot for Leeds against West Ham United tomorrow under the lights at Elland Road. It's a massive game for Leeds in the Premier League. Nuno's West Ham United come to Elland Road. How do you see this one going, George? Dare I say, because you have ranted for 45 minutes about sacking Daniel Farke, I'd have hoped that your time in the Vatican would have healed your spirits a little bit, but it clearly didn't. What are you predicting for this one?
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult one, this, because like you're so focused because of Burnley defeat. We've got to win, which I believe we do. I believe it is the last chance of Farke. I don't think they're going to hang around if we lose tomorrow. I would expect him to be gone the same evening, to be quite honest. But having said that, I do think we will get. I think we will win the game. Yeah, I think we've got enough at home. We've seen enough already, Arron, from Leeds at Elland Road that obviously Spurs beat us there, but other than that, teams have found it hard. West Ham are an incredibly low performing moment, and they've lost to Brentford on Monday. That would have hurt them a lot. Nuno just doesn't seem to know what he's doing. Yeah. What worries me is Cree, obviously, who Marcus Somerville gets sent off. I think Somerville will have a good game, and Bowen is always a worry. He likes a goal against Leeds, even in his Hull City days. Yeah. So, scratch it, actually. I think we'll draw the game. I don't think... Maybe we'll go ahead, but then we might concede a silly goal, and it might be a draw. And to me, if we draw, he goes as well.
Okay. Somerville's an interesting one because he hasn't really... You always think of Somerville. injury prone, but hasn't really done much at West Ham, has he? Really, to be fair, from an outsider looking in, it doesn't. We haven't really done much. Looking at the stats this season,
I'm going to go 1-1. I didn't
1-1. Okay.
Yeah.
1-1. Looking at goals scored, 0.9 for Leeds, 0.8 for West Ham, so pretty much neck and neck there. Goals conceded, 1.6 average, 2.3 for West Ham. Shots off target, 5.6, 3.6. Shots on target, 3.5 for Leeds, 3.4 for West Ham. Corners, 4.1 for Leeds. This is on average. 5.6 for West Ham. And cards, 1.4 and 1.5. So pretty even when you look at the statistics on paper. I don't know, George. I can see this being really tricky, but I do think Leeds under the lights is very, very special, especially on nights like this when it's October. It's miserable, it's dark, Leeds can put on a performance under the lights at Ellen Road. I really, really do think they'll get something from this. I can see Leeds winning 2-0. 2-0. I think we have to see big improvements from Burnley. I think we're right on that, but I do think Leeds will go and win this one 2-0. I'm quite confident they'll get something over the line here because West Ham, I watched them on Monday against Brentford, and my God, they were poor. West Ham have been, physical, really direct with their play in the past. They were absolutely diabolical. Nuno looked out of his depth. He really did. And Brentford weren't great either. Let's be honest. Brentford were poor, but they pretty much destroyed them. So I can see Leeds going here and getting a result, because I think West Ham for me are in real trouble this year. When I've seen them a few times now. They do look like relegation contenders for me. Yeah,
I think West Ham. Well, it's a huge game. It's a huge game. If we get 3 points, great. But back it up against Brighton. The weekend. The weekend after, where we've never won a Premier League game.
No. So forget that one. Forget that, George. We'll worry about Brighton when we cross it.
Exactly, but it's just sack him, get him out. Even if we win, get him gone. Even if we win, just get him out. If we
do win, though, we could move on 11 points and potentially sit in 13th position going into the Brighton game.
Yeah, see, look, I think if we win, that keeps them down with 4 points in 18th or whatever. It's Wolves away behind us.
Down 2.
It's close. You want Forest to keep losing, but ultimately we need to take care of ourselves. We're only 9 games in after this one, so.
Yeah, Forest, they're currently winning the Forest, by the way, against Porto in the Europa League. They played Bournemouth away at the weekend. That's a tough game for Burnley. Have got Wolves away, so you think, well, actually, Burnley could pull away from there now with a result down at Wolves. Who Fulham got? Fulham have got Newcastle United down there as well in 14th. A lot of the teams in the bottom half of the table playing each other this weekend. Brentford, who've they got? They've got Liverpool at home. But Liverpool have been crap in the league so far. So let's just hope these get a result. Let's have a look here at the comments. 2-0 says Mark's Mighty White. Somerville gets sent off. Tom says 1-0. 3-0 West Ham. Somerville, Bowen, and some randomer we haven't heard of. Bloody hell, Jimbo. What have you been drinking? Lewin has to click at some point, so he'll score the 2, says Mark. Let's have a look. 6-1, says Pele. 10. That would be great if that came in. And then let's have a look. What if we win 5 on the spin, George? Still sack him?
No, look, that's obviously not, but I tell you what, you've seen that man on, everybody's seen him now. I've seen him a while ago, but Man United win 5 and I'll cut my hair. You know what I mean? It's a similar kind of thing with that with Leeds. You're never going to win 5 in a row. I mean, we could all be, I'm never going to cut my hair, or I'm never going to cut my beard until they win 5 in a row. I'd have to be tying my beard up.
We'd be sticking it back on with PVA glue. Richard, 2-0.
It'd be down towards me.
Even down to the floor like Jesus himself. You've been to the Vatican and you do like reading the Bible. You could be the new Jesus. Go and bless the pitch and go and say a few words to the old man up there himself, if you could.
Exactly. Yeah. That's all it needs.
Tom says you'd be like Rasputin. You do have the look of Rasputin. Rasputin.
Yeah, that's not a good look.
No, that's not a good look. No, we will take that back. You need to be more like Jesus. Because he is an avid reader of the Bible, Tom. I don't know if you know that George does read the Bible and is conducting Bible studies probably as we speak. If we stay up with Fark, we have to shave your hair and beard off, George. What do you think to that?
Well, I mean, that's a fair comment, actually, but I'll take you on that because I don't believe he'll be past tomorrow.
Right. We'll leave it there. Who knows? If he does get sacked, by the way, we will be live on YouTube discussing it, but we don't think he will. He'll still be in a job, George. But if he does, or anything like that, we will always.
I hope he does. Because if he is, then we've won the game, and that's all we want, isn't it?
Absolutely. We just need 3 points. So we need to get 3 points tomorrow. We'll quickly get rid of the thoughts of Burnley. And we will leave it there. Thank you to everybody who... Oh, I haven't given a mention to our sponsors. Bloody hell. I'll get sacked. If you like strong coffee, go and listen and check out Strong Coffee Company. Use Talking Leeds and get 20% off. In the code if you like your coffee. Go and Google them. They're probably going to not be our sponsor anymore now, George. So I'm supposed to promote them, but I haven't. And there you go. Pelia says that's an official bet accepted by George. Yeah, we'll have to do that as well. Sponsored by Strong Coffee Company. They might come and do it themselves. I don't know. Right. Thank you to everybody who's listened on YouTube. Thank you very, very much for listening. We will be back next week. Don't forget to put your clocks back on Sunday, George, so that you're not reading the Bible. You put your clocks back. Sunday. No.
Oh, okay.
You put the clocks back.
Oh, right, okay.
That's blown your mind, hasn't it? Has it sunk in yet? No. Sundays when you put the clocks back. Anyway. Jimbo's having a coffee. Cheers. I hope you bought from the Strong Coffee Company. Anyway, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you next week. And thank you to everybody who's listened on the podcasts. We will see you next week.
See you then.
And there you have it.